A wanderer in the undergrowth glides along the leaf litter, searching for prey to tuck into the cradle of decay. This plush creature hides a secret silk used to knit gossamer snares. If you're caught in its trap, the dreams it weaves will never end, forever lost to the velvet worm's forest floor domain. Each falling leaf, a stone added to the cairn above your grave, in life, death, and taxonomy. Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's your 30 minutes of interesting animal information. I'm Joe.
And I'm Carlos.
Thank you to Cassie for the creation of our theme song. To hear more of Cassie's music, please search Cassie Michelle on YouTube or Spotify.
And thank you to Johanna for the creation of this week's artwork. To check that out, you can visit us at our home on the web at ldtaxonomy.com. And a very special thank you to our patrons. Thank you so much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks for helping us keep the lights on. If you would like to donate, just visit patreon.com/ldtaxonomy or click on donate on our website.
And today we're talking about something that's not real velvet, but it is a real worm. It is an actual worm. It lives like a worm.
So do I.
It likes to play the drums. It's getting pretty good, but it can handle criticism.
I'm starting to detect that this is a reference to something I'm not familiar with. Is this a Relient K song?
No, but they did do a cover of this song.
Did they, huh?
It's Dr. Worm by They Might Be Giants.
That's a band that I've heard the name of a lot, and I've been like, I should probably check them out and see if they're something that I would like. And I just
there's
never
probably
have.
some songs that you've heard before, like Little Birdhouse in My Soul.
Okay.
What's the sun is a massive incandescent gas.
I'm gonna have to. I think I'd have to listen to them to recognize them. That's classic, like hipster indie song title though.
Some of their songs are like edutainment.
But yeah. Anyway, what are we talking about? Oh no, I see.
Oh, the one that you've definitely heard is Istanbul, Constantinople, not Istanbul. It's Constantinople. Constantinople.
Yes.
The works.
I have heard that one. I don't like that song, so that's not that's not a very that's not a good indication of what.
There's a lot of their songs are very different from each other, so it's like if you don't like one,
great.
Like
so I listen to one and I can't make a judgment call on the whole band.
Yeah,
that's not fair.
Yeah.
I just want I want to create schemas so that I can go through life more easily. I want to listen to one song and be like, I don't like this band, and then move on.
Dr. Worm might be my favorite song of theirs.
All right, I'll take your word for it. I mean, the nice thing about music is that these songs are usually like 3-4 minutes long, so I don't really risk a lot checking it out like I would for a book or a movie or worse, a TV show. So I'll give it a shot if I remember to. I just haven't listened to music in a long time. I just don't do that anymore. It's become so like natural for me to think if I can listen to music, I'm better. Like I'd rather listen to a podcast because I'm like learning something.
Well, like half of music.
That's why I'm a nerd.
Well, anyway, do you have what are we talking about?
We're talking about a velvet worm.
Mm-hmm. We sure are.
Yeah. This is one where I did not know this existed. The pictures are mesmerizing.
Mm-hmm.
So check it out if you are not driving. We're going to call it here the gooey glue gun, the admiral of adhesive artillery, and the velveteen habit. But let's taxonomize this. It is in a kingdom you know, love, and are in, and that kingdom is Animalia. The phylum is Onychophora. Onychophora, which is velvet worms. It's got its own. It deviates immediately from all other animals and creatures.
Which is crazy. It has nothing in common. It can't fit into any other phylum.
Because I mean, it's called a velvet worm. It is not a worm.
It isn't a real worm. It isn't an actual worm.
No, yeah, it's just despite
it lives like a worm.
Despite your bold claims at the outset, it is not a worm at all. It is his own thing.
I mean, all I had to do was look at it. It's definitely its own thing.
It's called a velvet worm. You put it in Google, and you're like, oh yeah, that's not a worm.
That's
I know what I know what a worm is, and that's not one of them.
That's a freaking Pokemon. That's what that.
It looks like. We'll talk about what it looks like. It definitely looks like something that I would not be surprised to see like on an Avatar planet or a Star Wars planet or something. The class is Eudenocorpha. Or Cophora. Sorry, Eudenocophora.
Sephora.
The order is Unicophora. So we're in uncharted territory here. You're so used to being like, yeah, it's Chordata, Mammalia, Actinopterygii, like all these, but these are all new. The family is Parapatidae. The genus is Parapatus. It's also not worth doing things like, oh, this is all of this animal that or all this. It's like the phylum is velvet worms. The class is a subset of velvet worms. The order is a subset of that subset of velvet worms. It's all just velvet worms. So the genus is Parapatus, and the species is Dominicae. So Parapatus Dominicae is the binomial nomenclature. And since we're in the business of naming things, it's time for my favorite part of the show, nitty-gritty nomenclature, the part of the show where I ask you, Joe, a question, and that question is, what is the English translation for the binomial nomenclature? In this case, Parapatus Dominicae. Does that mean A, walking Dominican, B, Dominican velvet worm, C, sticky Dominican, or D, Dominican island foot?
I'm going to go with island foot.
That's my favorite deodorant smell. But it's incorrect. The answer is walking Dominican. Parapatus means to walk
Just means
about.
Walking? Wow.
Yeah, like to. I mean, it's walking like around. There's like a verb. There's a Latin verb just for that. So some have called this the wandering worm. They basically saw it and they're like, hey, look, it's a worm and it's walking. So we're just gonna call it Parapatus. We found it here on Dominica, so we're gonna call it Parapatus Dominica. Let's high five each other and have a snack and take 5. We're done for naming for the day. So let's talk about what this guy looks like. We've kind of alluded to it. It looks like a caterpillar and a slug if they had a child that was one of those like put it in water and watch it grow toys. You know what I'm talking about? Like it's a little pill and you put it in and it just soaks it up. It has this elongated, soft body with a velvety texture, of course. It makes you want to touch it so bad, but also never touch it as long as you live. So it's just very conflicting emotions. The colors range from dark slate to reddish brown. It has a snazzy, darker stripe down the back. It has 25 pairs of stubby, claw-tipped legs, so 50 legs. two big antennae up front, and simple eyes that are more for like getting the gist of things rather than high definition vision, which is very common with very small things and pretty common with insects that don't have compound eyes. This is not an insect, and it's also not that small. Like, it's not like a beetle fly thing. It's a bit big for a buggish thing. It's just so hard to categorize this thing because it's not a bug, it's not an insect, it's not a worm, it's not a caterpillar, it's none of this stuff. It doesn't have any like chitinous hair or anything like that. It just has this smooth hydrophobic skin. It's water off of a velvet worm's back. As the old adage goes. So like I said, it is not tiny. But it's not horrifyingly big like it's on Peter Jackson's Skull Island. How big is it, Joe?
Great question. Welcome to the Beloved Measure Up segment, the official listener's favorite part of the show, the part of the show that's introduced by you when you send an audio of yourself singing, saying, or chittering the words measure up into ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. Did I say that it's also part of the show where we present animal size in dimensions?
You have now.
Dimensions in relatable terms through a quiz that's fun for the whole family. We don't have a new measure up intro this week, but that means we get to hear from an animal. It causes us to guess what it is or who it is.
If you found a pop culture reference to a velvet worm,
no,
that would
never
very impressive.
Never get that lucky. I did find an ad. I will say that.
They're also impressive.
No, they're not. They're disgusting, but I like that it makes things free. Without further ado, the listeners part of the show.
Senseless violence. Okay, muchacho. Eat dirt.
Noise gate?
I heard a little bit of it.
Okay, did you hear? Okay, muchacho, eat dirt.
Yeah, I kind of heard something like that. Sounds like another Hanna-Barbera thing.
It is not a Hanna-Barbera thing. It is something from the 90s. It's a worm. It's an earthworm in a suit.
Earthworm Jim.
Earthworm Jim, that's it. He's like a hero, but he's like a worm in a suit, like an anatomically human suit, but it's just a worm in like a power suit.
Yeah.
And I loved the Game Boy Advanced game. I think it was like a SNES game. It was great.
Yeah, I had a friend who had that game, and I probably played it for 5 minutes, and so I did not think too much about it. But it was
you are able to swing from things by
attaching your head to it.
Yeah, like the body of the suit uses the entire worm, takes it out of the suit, and like uses it as like a lasso. And so it's just that always just I thought that was funny. Like he is using his entire self as a rope
for himself.
He's getting
the suit
it's
across.
The ship of Theseus. Like who has the agency here?
Well, it's like that Mitch Hedberg joke, where it's like my belt holds up my pants, but my pants have belt loops that hold up my belt. Like who's the real hero? Yeah. Okay. Earthworm Jim. Interesting. Not closely related to the Velvet Worm at all.
No, not technically. Only in name, but not in nomenclature. Let's talk about their length. The velvet worm has a length of, well, this particular one has a length of 5 centimeters or 1.97 inches. How many velvet worms laid end to end fit into the length of these objects? And which one's correct? A, 4.6 go into the length of a Caribbean spiny lobster claw. B, 3.8 go into the height of a Taino-Zemi figure. Or C, 1.5 go into the length of a Jamaican anole lizard.
1.5, you said?
Yeah. The Zemi figurine is a carved religious artifact from the Taino culture of Puerto Rico in Hispaniola.
I'm going to go with the anole. Final answer.
The correct answer is 1.5 go into the length of the Jamaican anole.
Yes. Noise.
Sorry,
this seems like it makes more sense.
You didn't even have to hear the part about, you didn't have to know about the Taino. Do you know who the Taino are?
Natives of the island of Dominica?
Well, no, the natives of Puerto Rico and Hispaniola. They might have been the people that were like decimated by
the Spanish.
The Spanish, yeah. In
like
in Las Casas, destruction of the Indies. Yeah. Let's talk about the weight.
There's a native group of people in the Caribbean that nobody's ever heard of. Do you think that they were decimated by the Spanish? Yeah, I think so.
There were like 1 million of them, and now there's none of them.
The only other option is decimated by the French, and maybe, just maybe, the Dutch or Portuguese. Decimated by Europeans?
Yeah,
for sure.
Let's talk about the weight of the velvet worm. I don't know what it is, but it looks like it's 2 grams. Based on what people did not write this down. If
you
it's
are a
enough,
bold one.
No one cares.
You are a bold one.
The velvet worm weighs 2 grams ish, or 0.002 kilograms. Does that help you?
No.
How many velvet worms go into the weight of these objects? And which one's correct? 30 go into the weight of a Carib grackle. Do you know what that is?
Sounds like a bird.
It is a bird. Yeah, it's a bird native to the Lesser Antilles. Or 4 go into the weight of a Barbados cherry. And C, 425 go into the weight of a Carib's canoe paddle.
What kind of cherry are we talking about?
A Barbados cherry is a fruit that grows across the Caribbean.
I'll go with that one.
Final answer?
Yeah.
The correct answer was the grackle. 30 go into the weight of a grackle.
I've never heard of a bird that sounded more delicious than a grackle.
Have a grackle with some Barbados cherries. What a snack.
Barbecued grackle?
Oh my gosh, a grackle just looks like a blackbird with like a slightly bluer head.
So a little less appetizing once you see it.
Caribs or Kalinago are another, I think, native people group.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah, of the Lesser Antilles. Yeah. Cool.
All right.
I don't know where those
fast
are.
Facts?
Yeah.
Antilles? He led the rebellion
I know they're in the Caribbean,
against the Empire.
Which one are they? There's yeah, go ahead and give us some fast facts.
All right. They are, we've mentioned the Caribbean a couple times. This is the Dominican velvet worm. So it is found on the Caribbean island of Dominica. Not to be confused with the Dominican Republic, a much smaller island closer to South America called Dominica is where this guy can
Yeah.
be found.
Which I did not know existed.
I did, but that's because I spent some time doing the North American geography challenge on an app, and they have you name like it's one of the hardest ones because each one of the Virgin Islands, or sometimes they're grouped up, but a lot of the Virgin Islands are their own like sovereign nation, which you don't really think about.
Yeah.
Or like the Virgin Islands are their own, but a lot of those like Caribbean islands down there that lead toward South America are their own sovereign nation. So I just like don't know about them. And Dominican
This is a
up there.
commonwealth, though, right? A commonwealth of who? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like you're doing Europe, and you're like, I got Europe, and it's like, what is this like? Malta. What's Malta? All right, so the velvet worm likes damp, dark spots like leaf litter, under rocks, rotting logs. They don't like to be in dry places. That's their kryptonite. During mating, the males will drop a spermatophore just onto the female's body, and then it will just absorb into her skin, and then will fertilize the eggs that way. So it's just like, here, have some genetic material, and then just by osmosis. So that's equal parts weird and efficient, but definitely efficient. They are carnivorous wormy boys. They eat small invertebrates like insects and spiders, and they use their saliva to turn those things into soup, which is giving spiders a little bit of a taste of their own medicine, because their favorite thing is to turn other things into soup and then drink it. I drink it up. They are nocturnal predators. They stalk the forest floor. They use their antennae to sniff out prey. They mainly hunt using chemoreceptors. Like I said, their eyes are not very well developed, so they don't use that. They can live for as long as 5 years in the wild, which is pretty long for something that is a worm but not a worm. They are mostly solitary, but they can sometimes gather in large groups, like a rotting log. If it's the one of the few places in the area that is conducive, damp enough to be conducive for them. They have to keep an eye out for birds, small mammals, larger insects that might try and snack on them. But I hear they have a way of avoiding becoming a snack, no matter how slimy yet satisfying they might be.
They sure do. I'm going to call the major fact hot glue gun. Hot cross buns. Velvet worms.
That's not funny. I hear that song every day. So
most velvet worms belonging to the phylum possess a remarkable and highly specialized ability to spray a sticky glue-like substance in defense and for hunting. It's often called slime shooting, like Spider-Man.
It's like this Spider-Man slime shooters. That was his first invention. He's got to refill it with slime fluid.
Yeah.
Slime fluid. That whole story becomes just even more gross.
Velvet worms eject their sticky substance from a pair of specialized glands located near their mouth, known as slime glands or oral papillae. These glands are connected to a muscular ducts that allow the worms to forcefully expel the adhesive fluid with precision and speed. When they detect prey or potentially a threat, they contract the muscles surrounding the slime glands, propelling the fluid through the oral papillae. And then the worm can aim and spray by orienting their head, oscillating it to create a net-like pattern that maximizes coverage.
Slime coverage.
Slime coverage. It's basically like squeezing a mustard bottle for maximum distance.
Do you get a lot of mustard bottles are just full of muscular ducts, aren't they?
No, you use your muscular ducts to squeeze the mustard bottle.
I got it.
Yeah.
I've got Canadian geese. They're not like they're like muscular ducks.
Yeah, a goose is just a muscular duck.
Mm-hmm.
A swan is the most muscular duck.
Howard is the most muscular duck.
No,
The
dark
mighty.
wing.
The mighty ducks.
Yeah, mighty. The slime can be projected up to 30 centimeters or 12 inches in some species, which is impressive considering that the worm is 1 to 10 centimeters. So that's good. It's 3 times the length of their body.
Hmm.
I don't know. Have you ever heard of a sniper? That's like thousands of times the length of their body.
Yeah, that's not that. I mean, if the sniper, it's not even that impressive to throw something 3 times the length of your body.
Yeah. But if I had to make like a sticky net with my body, then throw it 3 times the length of it. Not bad.
Yeah, just chuck a net 20 feet out. I mean, just do one spin and let it go like a shot put, and I'm sure you'll make it.
Upon contact with air, the slime rapidly hardens, transforming from a liquid to a tacky, elastic adhesive, similar to magic shell ice cream sauce. And
What?
you know, magic
No.
shell. You know the ice cream topping that you pour onto something, and then when it comes in contact with ice cream, it hardens.
Yeah.
That's called magic shell ice cream sauce. Well, it's called magic shell, and Johanna and I were like going back and forth on like, what is that stuff called? Is it sauce? It's chocolate sauce when it's like just the chocolate, but it also comes in caramel. So it can't be chocolate sauce. And I said, ice cream sauce sounds crazy. No one says ice cream sauce. So what the heck is that? Topping. It's topping.
Yeah, it's just not very descriptive because topping is it'll cast a pretty wide net, no pun intended. But I don't go next time you go to Brewster's or Cold Stone, just ask them for sauce.
Yeah, I'd like some ice cream sauce, please. Yeah, I guess it's just too vague. It's like a level. It's not so vague that it's topping, but it's not so specific that it's either chocolate or caramel drizzle.
Drizzle's pretty good.
Drizzle, yeah, ice cream drizzle. Magic shell ice cream drizzle.
That makes a lot more sense. That feels better on my ears.
Drizzle sounds more like a verb to me than a noun, but
no, when I think of ice cream, it's a noun.
Anyway, this stuff is like magic shell. It hardens when in contact with air. I always wondered, how does it not just solidify in the bottle? I think it's the cold.
Science.
I think it's the temperature of the ice cream. The slime is ejected conservatively. It's a slime conservative. It's fiscal liberal, but a slime conservative.
Slime conservative in name only.
Yeah. Which, in other words, the velvet worm can choose to only use a certain amount of their adhesive reserves. It's not like you ever heard like of small vipers, like baby vipers can't control how much of the venom they use. So they just like when they use it all, and they have to replenish it.
They're more dangerous than adults or whatever because they just they give 150%.
Yeah, exactly. But not them. They're conservatives. Adhesive slime is complex in composition. So
Sorry, I just like you're calling them conservatives, but the opposite of that would be liberal snake babies.
yeah, exactly. So what's it made of? It's a protein-based fluid with unique biochemical properties and which can vary from species to species. A lot of the research has been done on the species Eperipatoides rowley.
Sure.
So, yeah. The slime is primarily composed of proteins, including fibrous proteins, similar to those found in spider silk. So it's very similar to silk, which contributes to its tensile strength and elasticity. These proteins form a matrix that gives the slime its sticky and stretchy qualities. It is water-based, which allows it to be expelled as a liquid, but then quickly dry and solidify when exposed to air. The evaporation of the water triggers the hardening process, creating a durable adhesive. So it's all liquidy in the body, and then once it's exposed to air, it starts to evaporate quickly, and then that's what causes it.
So that is how Spider-Man works.
It's emulsify. Is that what it? No. What is it called when you heat a liquid up until it, like balsamic vinaigrette? You heat a liquid up until it like gets like sticky.
That
reduction.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's that. It's a sticky slime reduction.
Just like Spider-Man.
Yeah, just like Spider-Man.
Just Spider-Man and the spider slime.
The slime might contain enzymes and other chemical components that enhance adhesive properties or aid in prey immobilization. The exact composition varies. So the slime's stickiness is comparable to industrial adhesives, and its rapid hardening makes it an effective tool for capturing fast-moving prey. If they use too much, then they can eat it and recover some of those proteins.
I knew it.
And recycle it.
Reprehensible.
So it serves two purposes: predation and defense. Velvet worms are nocturnal usually, and they rely on stealth. Even though they look like a big fuzzy cute like Pokemon guy, they're stealthy apparently. And they eat insects, spiders, all that. And the sticky spray immobilizes a wide variety of stuff, so it allows them to eat larger varieties than if they had to just track down slow-moving prey. And the slime's net-like pattern increases the likelihood of ensnaring multiple prey items or covering a large area, making it an efficient tool when they're faced with predators. They'll spray it into the mouth parts or into the eyes or the face. That it just like gums up the works so that they can't get eaten, and then they'll get away. And for larger things like humans, it's non-toxic. It's not going to, if it gets on you, it's not gonna hurt you. For smaller prey, it might start to like digest. It's like a digestive. It's gonna start to dissolve the prey. But for you, it doesn't really matter. The worm's sticky glue has attracted the attention of greedy researchers. I'm just kidding. Of researchers and engineers for its potential applications as an adhesive, its adhesive strength and rapid hardening and biodegradability, like Spider-Man's webs.
Yeah.
After like 20 minutes, they biodegrade. Make it a model for developing eco-friendly glues or medical adhesives. Studies on the slime's protein structure aim to replicate its properties in synthetic materials.
And ice cream sauce.
Yeah, I don't know if even if it's not toxic, I don't think I want to eat it. Call me crazy. Magic Shell already cracked that code.
Yeah, you don't want worm excretion as part of your bovine excretion treat.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not an animal.
I'm a bear and not an animal.
Yeah. But that's all I got.
All right. That was the velvet worm. For you out there in Podcastia, stay velvety. Place your spermatophores wisely and paint your enemies with glue, like the velvet worm here in life, death, and taxonomy.
Hey Taxonomy Titans, I just want to remind you that we have a Patreon that you can find by going to ldtaxonomy.com/donate. All of our episodes are uploaded there. Sign up for free to engage with us, leave episode suggestions, or chat with other animal enthusiasts. If you find it in your heart to donate, it will help us cover some costs and continue to make the show. Plus, we'll thank you every week. Most importantly, thank you all for listening.
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
And a woman in Ohio during a traffic stop was found to have a dog, a raccoon, and drugs in her car. And once the lady got out, the police officer has a body cam, and he went over to the driver's side, and there was a raccoon in it with a meth pipe.